Welcome back, blade fans. Another Wee knife. Well, not really another one, because I haven't done Wee knives in quite a while that I can recall. And picked this one up on White Mountain, and that's where you can get 10% off. Here's my pitch. Use my discount code for 10% off Old Sword. No matter how many knives you buy, you get 10% off of the total. So there you go. I think that's a good thing. And Justin up there, he will ship it free to you, at least in the US, as far as I know. So here's the Wee knife logo that came with this next knife I'm going to show you. Here is their new pouch design. Their kind of byword there, made better. We made better. An interesting catchphrase. That's me, this old sword. And here's the knife up for look-see today. This is something called the Speedliner. And it's a design by none other than Tashi Bharucha, a noted designer for not only we, but a number of other companies, as I understand it. This was the only model available at the time, but I kind of like it because I dig carbon fiber, especially this kind of weave carbon fiber. It's kind of a neat one. I would call it a weave carbon fiber. Got a nice glow to it there. There's Tashi Bharucha's logo, kind of a neat logo that is looks like ancient Chinese calligraphy. This is a knife that is in 20 CV. It has a very interesting titanium backspacer that runs almost the full length, making it, I think, quite interesting. It has a right pocket titanium clip, right pocket only carry. Sorry about that, lefties. And pretty smooth on bearings, as far as I can tell. And it does have a hidden stop pins. There we go. So there's your stop pins. And you can see that they go up inside the handle and lock up on a location that you cannot see. So you don't see the stop pin there at the top. Whether or not that's an advantage, I don't know. I find most knives with the stop pins, the hidden stop pins, tend not to be drop shut. They're a little more pneumatic, if anything. But we've got, why that is, I'm not sure, probably the extra drag of the two pins, perhaps. But we've got kind of an interesting Tashi Bharucha design. And he makes some somewhat radical designs. I only have this one copy that was designed by him, this one knife model, the Speedliner. There are Speedliners in full tie and variants of that full tie. I will give you the link to White Mountain, and they may not all be in stock at the time you take a look. We're going to take this puppy, compare it later on to a few other Wee knives that I kind of like. And I'm going to call that kind of a straight back utility, if you want to call it that, with a swedge. Wouldn't call it a drop point because the point doesn't drop. It's just straight out there with a full, deep belly and an extremely high grind. They call this their silver bead blast. Although some people will say the silver bead blast can vary and sometimes it's got a little more shine. This one's a little more muted, a little more dull, but it does have a silvery kind of a look to it. Here we go. Overall length. I'm going to call that 8.1. How about that? And we've got a blade length of 3.4. with a cutting edge of about 3.3-ish. Taking out the calipers, let's take a look at the blade stock, which is actually thicker than you would think. I'm going to grab it right there. I'm getting 4.1 millimeters. Well, 4.0, let's call it 4.0. It should be 4.0, usually they're even, but not always. 0.15, and a fairly thin handle, I think. Yep, 0.49. And a blade weight, knife weight. I use the words blade and knife interchangeably sometimes, and sometimes not when I'm referring to the blade only. Ounces, 4 ounces. So I think with all of the obvious weight relieving, with those see-through slots there in the Speedliner, and a very kind of Persian handle, almost actually a Navaja sort of a handle, I would say. Too bad I didn't pull out the Pinkerton Night Horse to compare it with that. That might be an interesting comparison, but maybe comparison for another day. It has no jimping, so it's completely smooth. I get a good grip on it because I've got a definite stop right there on the heel of the blade. We have a very prominent release on it. Actually raises above the handle somewhat. So you're not going to have any problems closing it. And with a little wrist flick, even though it's not drop shut, with a little wrist flick, it'll close up pretty easily. Got a ginormous lanyard slot there, if you want to call it that. Put a couple of paracords through there, you know, a couple 550s, whatever. It's got a nice balance to it as well. I would say somewhat back a little further than right there. That would be ideal. But I think because of all that handle length, that we're not going to get that. Started out collecting WE knives as higher end knives back when I was getting a lot of budgety stuff. And this is more recent in the past year. This is the Reaver. This harkens back to some of those older WE knives I had with this kind of, I don't know what you call it, kind of a worn look on the titanium. This is bronzed anno, but you can see it looks kind of distressed, kind of like apocalyptic if you're a fan of Microtech. Got a nice deep pocket clip on it for a titanium clip. It's not switchable, but look at the beautiful detail there in that bronze look. It kind of looks old, and it is called the Reaver again, and it is really kind of, I don't know, kind of a cleaver, kind of a long cleaver look to it. Not even a Wharncliffe. That's a long one. I like big knives, and that's definitely out there, good inch or so longer overall than the Speedliner. And what did they make this one in? Almost impossible to tell lately. That's S35 with WE, because they are hiding the billboarding to a great extent. Here is a really unique one that is called the Straight Up. And they don't make this anymore if you're looking for it. This is probably goes back 4 years, 5 years. Titanium handle with the WE logo as kind of a pattern in gold. Some will scream garage knife, whatnot. I don't know. You know, go buy a garage knife, compare it to this, and then you'll know for sure. But a spanned backspacer, which is really cool. You can see through it. And WE as the pivot logo there. Kind of a saucer stepped pivot surround there. We have the stars on the other side of the thumb stud. missing names today, and another star over there. And all the screw hardware is the star hardware. So they do give you the star bit. Even the hardened steel insert there has a star bit that you need to use. And yes, they do give it to you, but good luck if you lose it getting another one. Maybe somebody will have one. That's a full inch longer also. So not to detract from the Speedliner, but these are both about the same length knives. The Reaver and the Straight Up. Saw a nice review on this knife by, I think it was Daryl Todd Knife and Tool. I think it was Daryl. Getting back to Speedliner, if we were to throw it up against Ontario Rat 1, my long knife standard, it is not as long. It's falling maybe half an inch or more, 5/8 longer. And what if we throw the Microtech MSI, my daily carry, up against it? Far, 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 far bigger knife, 4-inch blade, about 3/4 of an inch longer overall. So there you have it, and I think we'll finish with a little paper cutting test here. What do you think? I'll close this one up with the, I'll tell you, right hand still coming along. Might be as much as 6 months before I get the strength fully back again. So I got a switcheroo every now and then. I can hold the paper with it. Let's see what we got. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. As long as you do that draw cut. Yeah. It's got a pretty good edge on it. I think I might have stropped it when it came in. I do that with most knives. But a nice utility blade, I'm going to have to call it, with a Navaja style handle. And not a deep carry clip, but one that is sort of artful. So you may like this knife and want to get it in the tie handle. I'm sure if you shop around, you'll find those. And this is coming in a little over 2, I believe, but I will give you the link. It's not a budget knife by any means. Well, don't forget to give this video a like if you would, and subscribe. I will be back with you soon. Be well.